drowsy glow of a late Harmattan morning, as dust swirled lazily across the sun-baked path leading into the heart of Obinze village, Mama Effie sat on the uneven veranda of her mud brick home, watching smoke spiral from the kitchen hut where cassava porridge bubbled thick in the clay pot. Her eyes, cradled in the soft folds of age and experience, tracked the laughter of children, 6 in all, tumbling barefoot through the compound, their voices a medley of mischief and innocence. They were her grandchildren, every last one of them. 6 little lives, birthed by her 3 teenage daughters, Adwoa, the bold 18-year-old with 2 boys, Essie, 17, sharp-eyed and quick-tongued with a son and a daughter, and Araba, the soft-spoken 16-year-old who had only recently given birth to her baby girl, whose cheeks were as round as cola nuts and just as dark. Each morning, the girls set off to school in Odomas, the bustling rural town just beyond the red dirt edge of the village, uniforms pressed and books tucked beneath their arms. They left their children behind with Mama Effie, who fed, bathed, rocked, and soothed them as the sun marched across the sky. She praised her daughters, loudly, proudly, and often, not for the early pregnancies, but for what they had made of themselves despite it. Or so she told herself. But behind the rhythmic pounding of fufu, behind the soap-slicked clothes slapped against river stones, and behind the sing-song lullabies sung to restless babies, were deeper, more tangled roots. She had been them once. A girl who confused rebellion with freedom, who mistook defiance for strength. She had turned away from her father Kojo's wisdom, let her mother's bitter scorn of his poverty shape her understanding of what a man should be. When she became pregnant at 15, she thought she was in love. When her father died a year later, shoulders hunched under the weight of rejection and silence, she didn't cry. Now, years later, her reflection echoed in the decisions of her daughters. Each one had followed her footsteps, but not in the same way. Adwoa's fire. Adwoa's beauty was the loud kind, the kind that walked into a room before she did. Tall and brown-skinned with sharp cheekbones and eyes like polished obsidian, she was the kind of girl who could melt a boy's sense with a single glance. Her first child, Kwaku Jr., had come after a long and dangerous flirtation with Kojo Baini, a boy from Odomas who sold fake designer slippers at the roadside and lived with his aunt. He was all charm and swagger, and when he held Adwoa's waist behind the mango tree after school, she believed he would marry her one day. But when she got pregnant, Kojo disappeared like morning dew, leaving only the echo of his promises and the rust-stained chain he had once fastened around her neck. Her second son, Ni, was fathered by someone else entirely, Kwabena, a visiting apprentice mason from a nearby village. They had a brief fling the following Harmattan, one she never spoke much about. Mama Effie only found out after the baby's skin tone and square forehead made it clear he wasn't Kojo Baini's. Adwoa didn't deny it. She simply said, "It happened, but I'm not ashamed." She fought for her boys, fought the gossip, the judgment, and even her own friend, Sena, who tried to flirt with Kojo Baini before he vanished. The fight was loud and dirty, girls grabbing braids and scratching faces behind the school latrine. Effie had been called in by the headmistress, who had looked at her with that mix of pity and disappointment. But Adwoa came home that day with a split lip and a fire in her eyes. "I'm not weak, Ma," she said, "and I don't regret anything." Essie's ambition. Essie was different. Slender, with long lashes and an analytical mind, she had always been the problem solver in the family. She sold sachet water after school and tutored younger children for coins. She planned to be a banker, maybe even open her own microfinance one day. But Acey had fallen for Daniel, the teacher's assistant at the secondary school who lived in the cornstalk compound beside the old mission house. He was older, with a slow smile and smooth words. At first, Acey resisted him, but he knew how to listen, how to make her feel seen. He encouraged her ambitions, told her she was different from the other girls. She gave in, just once, she claimed. Her son, Kwesi, was born 9 months later. Daniel denied it, even when the baby's resemblance was undeniable. He was transferred out of the school soon after, and nothing more was said. Her second child, Akua, came later, after Essie began spending time with a boy from the Pentecostal church choir. This time, she was more careful, more quiet. She still hasn't named the father, and Ify suspects she never will. But Isi studies hard. She does her chores. She handles money like it's an extension of her hand. She'll go far, Efi would say. Just watch. Araba's silence. Araba, the youngest, had always been the gentle one. She spoke little, laughed softly, and wrote poetry in the margins of her notebooks. Her pregnancy had come as a shock to everyone, even herself. The father, she confessed one evening while peeling cassava, was Kabi, the boy who played drums in the Junior Youth Fellowship. He had told her he loved her. He had touched her gently. And one night, when the moon was full and the breeze carried the scent of ripened pawpaw, it happened. She cried when she told her mother, cried so hard her whole body shook. She didn't want to be a mother yet. She didn't even know how. But the baby came. A girl with wide, curious eyes, and something in Araba softened even more. She started singing lullabies her grandmother used to hum, started writing stories again, stories about girls who loved too fast and learned too late. Effie, rocking the baby in her lap, would watch Araba and wonder if the gentlest souls were the most fragile. Reflections in Clay. Effie loved her daughters. She praised them not because she approved of how things happened, but because she saw how the world around them did not wait to support them. She had survived teenage motherhood, and they were surviving too, scraping together hope, resilience, and dreams amid cracked basins and borrowed baby clothes. Still, there was something she could not shake. Her husband, Kwaku Mensah, once a proud Mason, now moved like a man whose weight was invisible but crushing. Ever since losing his job during the fuel crisis, he had become quiet, ignored. When he tried to speak to the girls about responsibility or choices, Effie often shut him down. "You don't know what they're dealing with," she'd snap. Just let them be. But now she could hear her mother's voice in her own. And Kojo's warning silence in Kwaku's tired eyes. One evening, as the sun melted behind the baobab tree and the babies fell into their evening naps, Effie sat beside Kwaku and finally said the words, "I think I may have praised too early, or maybe too little." Kwaku looked at her, his face unreadable. "We can't just applaud survival," she said. "We have to raise the bar, somehow." He didn't respond right away, but he placed his hand gently over hers. And in that quiet moment, surrounded by cracked walls, secondhand cradles, and dreams born too soon, Mama Effie wondered, was the bar too low for these teen mothers?